It's copyrighted. All rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. We'll do a quick roll call here to determine the quorum. Councilor Baumgartner.
Here.
Evers is absent. Ferguson.
Here.
Howard. I'm here. We have a quorum. We'll call the meeting to order here. We'll begin with the public forum. Public forum is when we invite members from the public to address council. Speaking time limited to 3 minutes. If there's any business to take care of after that, we'll either direct staff to handle the business or we'll make it a discussion item. So now is the time. If you're here to address council, to do so.
That's you, Ron, if you want to come.
You first?
You first.
I think you're the only one.
You're the only one here for public forum.
Oh, well, just a lot of people.
We told everybody else that if you're gonna be here, then we don't.
Good. 3 weeks from today, Memorial Day, the 25th. And for many, many years, the American Legion and the VFW and the Legion family, which is the auxiliary and the Sons of the American Legion now, we put on a Memorial Day program at the Armory, which is now the community center. Unfortunately, we have a problem. There's not enough seating. There's only about 100 chairs up there, I believe.
150.
150?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we need at least 250 seating for the people. And then the band will be up there and they'll take about 30 chairs. And then probably another 10 behind. And then for the honor guard, another 10. So we need another 150 chairs. Probably 300 total.
Okay.
Is what we need to put on a decent program. So otherwise we're gonna, I know there's gonna be a lot of people there, that's for sure. Because last year we had it at the American Legion, and luckily we had nice weather outside.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it worked, but it didn't work because it's so close to the highway that our speaker system was good.
Yeah.
But the highway noise drowns it out.
Right.
Just about everything. You know, for anybody sitting in the back, people not here. So everybody says, I can't wait to get it back in the Armory. So that's why I'm here tonight. So
Does the Legion have any chairs?
we do, we have 300 or 400 chairs. The problem is they're all beat up chairs.
Yeah.
And they have no rubbers on them.
Oh, so they'll mess up the floor.
So we won't dare take them to the Armory.
Yeah,
They're made only for outside, like
right.
the Root Fest and the firemen's and things like that. That's the only place we use them. And other ones, of course, are other chairs. We don't want to, the good chairs, we don't want to take them out of the building. So,
Then there was another part of it, right?
pardon?
There was another part of it, right?
About the lease agreement?
Oh, yeah, the lease agreement.
Yep.
Yeah, I was wondering if you guys, if there is one, if you could waive that for Memorial Day. I think that's only proper.
You guys be all right with that? Putting this on a discussion item later on in the
Yes.
agenda here? Can I get a motion on that?
I'll move the motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to put lease agreement and also a chair conversation into discussion items. We would call it discussion item E at that point.
Do we want to move it? So items B through D are really more staff based.
Oh,
So
sure.
to be respectful time of our guests, I would suggest you add it maybe as B.
Okay, it's a great suggestion. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll be talking about it a little bit later, Don.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ron. It won't be too long if you wanna stick around. We'll probably be getting into it in like
Yeah,
15-20 minutes.
I could use a nap anyway.
Yeah. Oh, we're way more excited than that. Scott, do you have something?
Yeah,
All right,
like the new council changes.
me too.
I just wanted to touch base with you about the upcoming Corn Capital Days kickoff event. Really looking forward to that. I don't know if Elizabeth, you're able
I'm gonna open it up. Yep.
And yeah, excited about that event. The purpose of it is to help reconnect the community with its story and to ideally get together and begin to kind of vision what the future to look like. As a part of that, there's the poster for it. So this will be a free event. It'll be May 16th. And it'll be focused around Randy and his band. He's produced a 12-song album about Dowling's trip from Olivia to Yellowstone Park. And then we will also have a dinner. And there'll be a few kind of interesting community engagement pieces, again, kind of centered around legacy and what we might do for the future of the community. Is there the other one too, by chance?
You sent me the poster. Is there one other thing you sent me recently?
Yeah, it's
Can you provide a keyword? The last I have from you is 527 poster.
yeah, it was a really large file. It was a Google Drive one. That might be the issue with it. I think it's Connor Riley is actually what it's titled.
I have not. I've gotten your emails from earlier, the Visual Arts Committee, CC Days Kickoff Talk, Gabbard intro page. They don't have a Google file.
Got it. Okay, so I'll get you guys this document and you'll have it to look over. What it is it just kind of lays out a plan for a potential art installation. It involves the mural that Bill Gabbard created a couple of years ago now and wasn't able to get funded on. What we have done is we have brought in 3 former students from Bowl to help participate in that. And so we're going to be looking at different locations, some of them that are city owned. There we go. Well, that's a portion of it. So
There?
yeah, and if you want to just kind of zero in on that middle pick, that'll probably suffice. So that's our group there with Bill, Connor Riley, McKenna, Lilia, and Jake Roundhorse. Those were all kind of recommended as star students of Bill's. And they each kind of got an interesting kind of focus area. Jake is in the military, and Connor is an architect, and McKenna is serving as an art teacher in Battle Lake. And so again, we'll be kind of looking at some of these different buildings, both public and privately owned, and seeing if we can't find an ideal location for that mural, find out a way to pay for it, and potentially propose another art project on top of that. And at this point, just wanted to kind of keep the city informed, and if there is any issue or any recommendations, input, we would welcome that.
Are you aware of a walking tour guide that the Renville County Historical Society put together?
The one for Olivia, yes. Yeah. And I know we were talking about updating that, or the community is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just curious. It just came to mind when I see all these points of interest there. I know that there's like a whole walking tour guide. I saw one here at the county fair that they were selling.
Yep.
I got a wall if you need some walls.
Oh,
I was looking at.
I got some wall space if you need any walls.
I was looking at that, so.
I have to talk to Linda about that, huh? Or can you just put anything up there?
Well, I mean, I have some other walls. I have wall, well, yeah, we can get, but if you're walking around, you know, there's the other building too. So.
Yeah, I was wondering about the both of those, so. Yeah, this is a kind of this specific spot that we're looking at potentially installing the mural. And then it gets kind of interesting when you look at all of the different opportunities and kind of how the story maps out in the community. It definitely gets interesting and fits in with that walking tour. So definitely going to utilize some of that, and was thinking that might be an opportunity to update that as well.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I sorry I don't have the nice pretty documents for you. But thank you, Elizabeth.
No problem.
Thank you, Scott. Any questions for Scott?
I'll shoot you guys an email, that
Actually, that poster, that announcement, is that out anywhere?
will be.
Okay.
Yeah, just getting ready to print it, so.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, it looks like, is anybody else here from the public to address council? I'm not seeing any action there, so we'll move down to the setting of the agenda. Remember, we have a different discussion item B that'll move everything else down. Call for a motion to approve tonight's amended agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the agenda. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Alright.
Any opposed? Okay, agenda is set as amended. We'll move down to the consent agenda. And pardon me, we do have a proclamation here today. We are, May 15th is known as Peace Officers Memorial Day. So we're making a proclamation to honor our law enforcement community here in town here. So we are recognizing this week as Police Week, and we encourage all citizens to recognize the dedicated service of law enforcement officers and to honor the memory of those who have given their lives in the line of duty. So thank you very much to our wonderful police department.
Thanks, chief.
Okay, we'll move down to the consent agenda here. It contains the meeting minutes from April 20. Resolution 39, which is approval of donations. Resolution 40, which is authorizing employment to Owen Bumgarner as a city hall intern. Resolution 41, approving the hiring of Parker Riddler for the position of seasonal park maintenance and community center assistant. 42 is approving the hiring of Lee Stock for seasonal park maintenance. 43, approving a step movement for Craig Magas. 44, establishing compensation rate for volunteer firefighters. We have an SEH supplemental letter agreement to the Olivia Airport Taxi Line Reconstruction Project. And we have April disbursements in there. I'll call for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Do I need to recuse myself as we both hold it?
Yes, if you just wanna abstain from this consent agenda
Alright.
for your conflict of interest, that would be great.
I'll abstain.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Alright.
Any opposed? And Bob Gardner is abstaining, so it's consent agenda passed. Moving to the discussion items.
Mr. Mayor, you voted as well, correct?
I sure did. I
Yep,
voted
okay, just check.
I should have, yeah.
I was gonna say.
We needed my vote there.
Yeah.
You got it. Yes, I voted yes. Okay, John Mitchell is here to talk about updates from RRRSWA.
Well, I'll just kind of go back a little bit. First of all, yes, I'm John Mitchell and I'm the executive director for the Redwood-Renville Regional Solid Waste Authority. It's a lot of words for simple acronym of RRRSWA. I was the environmental director for Redwood County for 25 years and also oversaw the solid waste programming. And then back in 2015, I accepted the position to be the executive director there. So I've been there for 11 years now. And when we first began the discussions between Redwood and Renville County, one of the things that we looked at with the facility was making sure we could bring the material to it, so it'd be the recycling and MSW. And so the council members at that time, our board members from both counties went to each one of their cities, just requesting that when they completed their upgrade for their new solid waste contracts with their haulers, that they included the direction of the material to go to the RSWA transfer facility. This way that your taxpayer dollars are going to fund something, and it sure is a lot easier when your citizens then use the facility with the haulers itself. We have probably about 11 or 12 haulers that are within Renville County that bring in materials there. And so when the new RFP is coming up, the only thing that we ask is you continue in your contract agreement that you designate that the RSWA be the place where the garbage goes to. Now, where else is it gonna go? It's getting more and more sparse. The other options that you have is Spruce Ridge, which is owned by Waste Management in McLeod County. Calumet County closed down their acceptance of all demo and out of county garbage unless you pay an exorbitant rate. And then slowly the other county landfills are shutting down due to the fact that PFAS has been an issue for many of them. And that they're filling up, and the state hasn't been very good about renewing contracts. As far as like our permission letters from either demolition material or solid waste materials. So ours goes to Reddit Falls, and then from there we transport it on a semi of 20 tons down to Lynn, Minnesota or Marshall. So it's been the same way for the last 11 years. So when I heard that you were looking at some discussions in RFP, that's just the only one thing that I want to make sure it's in the contract, and I'm going to other cities asking the same thing.
Is that something we could just work into the RFP?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds fair. Wait. Is
Do we need a
that
motion?
the consensus to provide direction to staff to include RSWA as being the disposal site in the RFP for our trash collection coming up here?
I don't think I have a problem with that. Is it cost competitive with this?
It is. So the only thing we have is we have like $1 additional surcharge that's on top, but otherwise the hauling costs from West Central, what we pay for them is directly on top of what we get from Lyon County. So, and then we have $1, so it ends up being altogether, I think last year collected 14,583 tons at the facility. And then there's some bleeding out that's happening from one of the haulers that's taking it direct from that side, which causes a little bit of a stir. So we just want to make sure that the RSWA site is where the material is going to. It makes sense because you can fit 3 compactor trucks, 3 garbage trucks onto one semi load. So it dumps on the floor, we pack it up and send it to Marshall. On average, we send 3 to 4 trucks to Marshall a day. 1 truck recycling goes to Demcon. Usually about between 1 and 2 trucks a week go from our facility to the demolition landfill.
And did you say that the other counties have a out of county surcharge for dumping?
We don't really get much out of county.
No, I'm saying the other, like our other
yeah.
options, we would have another
Counties are-
surcharge.
Calumet County does. I'm not really sure about Spruce Ridge. They mostly are pretty full between Meeker County and McLeod County brings their material there. I know they're not price competitive as what we are in Marshall, so I know their rates are a little bit higher. They're also is volume based, so if you bring in a lot of material there, Waste Management has the ability to reduce that amount. And then the last thing we do is we try to work regionally within the Southwest region. All of our plans are with the 12 counties, so we try to support one another if we can by bringing in our MSW there, our recycling back to here, our demolition down to Rock County. So we're trying to do a lot of things together.
I'm not sure how I got signed up for the text messages, but that's a cool addition.
Thanks.
Yeah, and just reminding everybody that the electronics collection is in Bird Island on Monday, May 6th from 2 to 6 p.m. Wednesday, May 6th. Sorry.
Very good.
Wednesday.
May 6th is right.
Yeah.
If you bring it over, you'll see me there.
Perfect. Everybody's okay with that direction then? I don't believe we need a formal.
You'll have to formally approve the contract whenever we have the
Right.
contract, but yeah, yep.
Well, I appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
Any other questions about the RSWA? The text messaging, we got that through text by gov. That is a nice little thing because we have really a direct contact with it. What we did is we could have done it the organic way and then sat at the fair and pull all these numbers and instead we paid a little bit of additional monies. And they basically went through all the cell phone data and pulled phone numbers in and getting the people to opt out. I actually like it because one of the things that's gonna be beneficial for us. It's a super windy day, and. It's West Central is being delayed, it doesn't matter if it's a single storm or whatever. We can immediately draw a circle around the cities that they're gonna be in that day. Let people know that, hey, they're running 2 and 3 hours late. Otherwise, if we don't, and they don't get picked up at normal time, our phone rings up.
It's a big deal.
Why is
Big
it
deal.
something that, and they do have truck breakdowns and things like that. So this was and it took me 3 years to convince the board to do this, but I really think it's direct benefit goes right to the people.
No, it's great.
And they don't like me when the chiropractor reminds us of something or what you're recycling on that day. So I mean, I think it's been pretty well received.
So I know I get it, but does everybody get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not.
How do you sign up for it if you don't get it? Different way.
Yeah, we go to it and go to our website and it includes, there's a little piece in the bottom and then it clearly tells you just to have this Texas number and
Oh, cool, I'll have to share that on
it's
Facebook.
crazy. We've also had some complaints about somebody who's out in Colorado that hasn't lived here in 15 years. And they're wondering why they're doing it and we're stalking them from Colorado with the answers.
It says
No,
stop.
it just happened.
It says reply stop,
Yeah,
if you don't
and
want the message at the bottom.
That's what we tell them, is hit the stop button if you don't want us.
What number do you text to get it?
I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, it's like a 4 or
I'm
5.
pulling up your website.
It's 80946 on here is what I get it from, but I'll find them. And the two,
So
Matt is signed in for.
Right there, learn about our texting service down in the bottom.
You can see that.
And you're okay with us calling it ours?
oh,
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
right on the
I have
Zoom
heard,
thing, so
we call it RSWA, I've heard RSWA, and RSWA, I've heard all different sort of,
I was like, who's ours?
well, that's kind of one of those tough
But this
things.
is great information, I'm like,
Otherwise, it's such a long name and I forget about 2 words into it, then they face out. So yeah, this is.
Yeah, there you go,
Roll
it is.
the R.
or I can't roll the R, it's bad, yeah, I can't do it. It's terrible.
Otherwise, our recycling rates have been doing well. The sad part is a couple of things, we'll just talk. Our garbage rates continue to increase, which is somewhat scary. And the recycling rates continue to decrease. And, people just don't participate as much as what we'd like to see. When I get the new data that comes out that talks about cities, each one of the cities and how often they put their bins out, their recovery rates. Olivia does rank really high, and it's a sense of pride when I can drive through the town and I can see all of the yellow bins out. Maybe not to you, but for somebody who oversees the program, it means a lot. I would love to see more people use their bins for the correct reasons. We get some goofy things, we have a lot of dumb stuff that's put in there. That's their horror stories, and we do put them on our website, and you can just go to it and look at the pictures that are on Facebook. Like a canoe sticking out of their bumper or a transmission. When the truck lurches down, he realizes something's wrong and somebody dismantles the transmission and throws it in there. Sometimes we see people, instead of just pulling their cart down to the end of the curb, they drive it up here and then try to horse it into the rural site, which doesn't make any sense at all because you have the collection right there, and some people some just fill it with grass clippings or whatever else, and so we send out lots of little different things. Some of the communication ones we have is clearly when you put it down to the curb, we ask that the lid face the center of the street. If they don't, then everything falls out backwards and it rolls around, makes a big mess, and the driver's frustrated. So if you find a red tag on that says something like curb to this, to the center, you'll know you did something wrong. We also implemented tags. So he'll put a tag on it, he'll put a check mark for certain things that you're doing wrong or incorrectly. Please fix this. And after so many of these things, they'll just, eventually just take the cart because it just becomes ridiculous for the driver.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean.
And it's such a great service, like, we should really take care of it.
I think so, and it is really easy for people, all they have to do is roll the cart down when they're, at the end, and if they get destroyed, well, they just contact us and we'll replace the cart. We've had a few of those where people ran them over, been in some accidents, but for the most part, the program's been it's been going very well. And then the demolition landfill, just do the last part of it, I'm on the blighted properties committee for the county. And so, whenever if you need some help filling out one of the applications, if you're seeing things, let me know. definitely will try to help you fill that out.
Cool.
But for the most part, we've done very well. We've done between, usually, there's certain cities that really do very well about getting done. I think Hector's been very responsible, probably between 2 and 3 houses a year, sometimes 4. I can't remember if Olivia's done a bunch of them. We've had Fairfax, we've had commercial buildings.
We went through the trailer park a couple of years ago, didn't
We did.
Yeah.
You know, for each residence, it's up to $5,000 for the business being taken down, it's up to 10,000. It's a great program. And at this point, our demolition landfill has about 2.5 years left of space. So, we've been pushing other people away just to get the city, buildings and city houses there, so we don't have so far to transport it.
Sure.
So it saves money for each one of the cities. So if there are some dilapidated ones, let us know. And we certainly will help out whatever you need.
Cool.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thank you very much for letting me talk to you here. For whoever needs something, give me a call and certainly come back and do another update.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John and his team are excellent to work with. Anytime we've ever had a question, John gets back right away. So we really appreciate your partnership.
And we all work together, don't we?
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, we'll talk about the new discussion item B. First of all, we'll tackle the lease agreement portion of it.
So I will say for the lease agreement, if we can just be discussing the fee portion, we obviously would like all groups to sign the lease agreement, which, you know, waives our liability if things happen and stuff like that. So I think the main sticking point here is, if you're having an event, a flat 4-hour event for more than 50 people, it's a $200 fee for that 4 hours. And I think right now that's the sticking point.
Yeah, I think it's important for things like Memorial Day, Veterans Day, other national holidays, that there is a place. I think community center fills that need. I would be interested in developing a conversation to waive the fees associated with the lease agreement for these national holiday kind of situation.
What did we do with Halloween?
It wasn't free, but it was reduced.
And then they were given the opportunity to get in contact with the different local civic organizations to help cover any of the cost that was there, which was, if I remember correctly, it was reduced quite a bit.
Let me pull up the official.
But they also don't charge for the program. And they also pay for all the supplies themselves personally, so. It's not like it's at no cost to them to do something that great for the community.
This feels different than the haunted house.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Absolutely. I don't think we should, I personally
And then-
am gonna say,
The haunted house went back $225.
yeah,
That's what they paid?
That's what they paid for their event, and that was an interesting one because again, they were using it for one night, but they also needed the space to set up, and then they are also using the garage space to like load in. So that is with all those multiple factors happening, that's what it is. I mean, I think the council could make a good argument for a public purpose use of funds if you'd like to consider a reduced rate. This is a public event honoring our local veterans and remembering them, those who are no longer with us. It's a public event, things like that. So if you wanted to consider it.
I am, and I'll fight this point 1,000%. I am in support of this. I don't feel that the Legion and the American Legion, or the Legion and the VFW should have to pay for use of this space. This is a remembrance of our brothers and sisters that have fallen in the defense of this country and have been willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for the freedoms that we enjoy, and having the opportunity to be able to remember them with this ceremony I don't feel it is something that should come, the cost has already been paid.
I absolutely 100% agree that they shouldn't have to pay for anything. It's a memorial in support of our troops, and I just don't think we should be charging them that. Like how he says they already paid the highest cost.
Do we have any idea if we're breaking even in the black and the red on the community center?
We got a $450,000 grant.
What isn't that being spent on air conditioning or something? Or-
That's being spent on facility upgrades for operations. No, I don't think we're in the black at the moment. We have budgeted, we had kind of guess numbers for utilities and things like that. And electric in the building, particularly for the winter months, was higher than anticipated. So while we're bringing in revenue, I don't think it's not covering all of the costs of the building at this time.
See, that's the rub.
Well, are you for them paying or against it because we're already 2 to?
I know, but we can still have a conversation. I'm all for waiving the fee, but I'd like to be able to speak.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
I just want the council to know as part of their discussion that there is a statute for 6550, which specifically allows the council to spend money, reserve money. In this case, you're waiving a fee that you would otherwise get for observance of Memorial Day and in annual commemorations of noble and valiant deeds of the nation's soldiers. So just as part of your conversation with respect to furthering a public purpose by waiving any type of fee, I wanted you to have that information.
There is a statute supporting them being able to do that. So, cause the only thing I'm worried about, cause I don't want to charge either, but I have.
Oh, yeah, there's gonna be all kinds of
So,
people asking.
Right,
for
that's
things.
where cause it's like, oh my God, how do you control this stuff? So that helps.
Yeah.
Falls under this statute, that makes it much more simple. What I was thinking would be useful, and Ron, I'd like your input on this, but can we put a basket out to be like, hey, help our community be able to maintain this facility so we can use it next year? Just a free will donation, if anybody can toss in $1 or something.
I think we could, we do have a couple of expenses. Yeah, with the cost of the programs we put together, and then the speaker system.
We can't solicit donations in that kind of way where it's like the city's asking for
But
donations.
Ron,
There's
the Legion
certainly
can.
a Legion free will
But the
donation.
Legion, but do you take those donations in already to cover your cost for putting the program?
You guys don't typically take donations.
Now,
Yeah,
no, we never have. And we have a cost with this already, so.
Yeah, we get what you're saying.
so yeah, I don't wanna overcomplicate this. I would suggest you put out
Yeah.
a basket for free will donation and then donate whatever you think is appropriate back to the city for the rental, knowing it was $200. Otherwise, if it was not
Yeah.
a statutory situation.
I think that makes sense, and I think the public would understand that.
Yeah, it's about
It's
keeping it
two-way
open
street,
long
yeah.
term, keep
Yeah.
doing this, you know.
It's a two-way street, it really is.
All right, I'll call for a motion to waive the fees associated with the lease agreement for the Memorial Day program.
So moved.
second.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Can I just ask one
Yes.
clarifying question? Is this, so we're not back here next year, is this
Future approved.
something that you would like to see waived for future Memorial Day programs as well, provided we are covered under statute, or would you like to have this discussion every year?
Can we
I'm
just,
comfortable either way.
is it okay if we set it for Memorial Day and Veterans Day in case that's needed? Is that,
Okay, so another gym.
Veterans Day is always done at school,
At school.
Yeah.
you know.
well, just as a backup?
I don't
The
think-
statute is specific for Memorial Day. It does
Okay.
reference
Then
annual
Memorial Day.
commemorations of other, I think it could be broad enough to do that, but you're on completely safe ground with respect to Memorial Day.
We can
Why don't we
take
just-
the Veterans Day thing if it comes.
Okay,
If you, yeah.
But I would include my motion for this to be forthcoming.
Okay,
I would second that.
If it's gonna be forthgoing though, then I'd like something in there saying that this free will donation, cause
You
you're gonna
can't
write this down,
solicit
and I
donation.
know, but. What I wanna talk about, that's the part, you guys keep wanting to give everything away,
No, it's
so
not.
just slow down and
everything
think
away,
of a little better way to do it.
How much? You enjoy the freedoms that we have in this country because men and women.
I don't wanna
give
get
the
in that
ultimate
discussion.
sacrifice, but
I
you
don't
wanna,
get in that-
you wanna.
That's. it's
$200 is
loaded
gonna break
discussion.
everything?
I'm focused on keeping that community center functional.
And
without
so are the
raising
rest of
taxes
us,
to
but
do it.
there comes a time when you gotta sit and understand what you have and why you have it. Without people that have made this sacrifice, we wouldn't be having this conversation in a free country to begin with, Matt.
I could disagree with you or agree with you on many points. This is about keeping the community center in the black. And so I don't wanna charge for it, but I don't wanna just have a blanket statement that this is free in perpetuity.
Let me help redirect the conversation here. I don't believe it's legally possible for us to write into any language that donations will be expected or suggested or anything like that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You are
So I think
correct.
that part of the conversation, we probably leave out of this motion if you're okay with it.
Alright.
But certainly staff has heard the desires, so you work collaboratively together.
And we did have a great donation last year from, I believe it was the Sons of the American Legion, that did donate money to the city for startup equipment towards the armory. So I will say they have been good partners.
Yeah, all the chairs, I think. No, it was $1,000.
It was $1,000, but. Okay.
You wanna, Elizabeth, do the wording now for the free will?
We can, I can follow up with you when we do the lease agreement.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so motions been made and seconded to waive the fees associated with lease agreements for Memorial Day programs at the Armory. Any other discussion? Hearing none?
Sorry, does this also include the security deposit? Yes? There are 2 fees, so I just want to confirm, yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. Waive all fees, got it.
All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Second conversation is regarding chairs. Do you think all those chairs don't have the rubbers on them, on the bottom?
I tell you what, they're World War II vintage.
Yeah, I've
They really are.
tucked them around enough, I
They
agree.
bought them back in the early '50s, most of those, and they get named underneath and stuff like that. World War I guys did that. They are really bad. Not only that, the bottom is bad, but they're not safe. A lot of them are cracked. I mean, we've had a couple sitting outside, people just collapsed on it, but I mean, they're really bad, you know. So those would kind of throw us. I wouldn't even want to bring them down to it, no. That would not be good.
So we don't really have any other option for chairs, do we? Is there something that?
We have a handful of chairs in the fire hall that we could potentially,
Like 20.
maybe 30.
Folding chairs, you're talking about.
Yeah, folding chairs in the fire hall that we could potentially bring over. There are not folding chairs, but they're the old like blue grayish or lobby chairs. If you walk through the lobby,
Yep.
those stackable ones, there's maybe
Yeah.
20 some of those.
We have probably like 30 to 40 chairs at the arcade we could bring over.
It's just across the street, huh?
Yeah.
Those have the rubber bottoms on it?
Yeah,
I could check and St. Aloysius too. I think the old chairs, folding chairs are still in the basement in the racks. And they've never used them since Jubilee Center, the first time.
I mean, we did look into this just this afternoon because Ron and I had a brief discussion about this.
Oh,
It would be if we're going for 100 more chairs and the rack to put them on, that's $3,000. So that's,
$30 a piece.
yeah, the chairs are
With
27
racks.
bucks these, yeah, with a rack to put them, because we're not looking, we have movable racks to put them all on.
Right.
Because if you have 100 more chairs, you don't just want a pile of chairs.
Let's do what we can to source chairs from the community this year and work on raising some funds for for more chairs for moving forward.
Somehow we get her done.
The band plays,
What's that?
the school band plays,
Yeah,
get more chairs from them.
that's true.
The school has chairs.
We're a pretty good partner with the school, I think.
Yeah,
We should be
If
able
you
to
got-
sell their chairs.
Any of those older chairs that are worth buying new rubber feet for,
Yeah,
that's a possibility too.
there's some, I don't know.
St. Al's has chairs that they don't use.
I think they still have the. In the basement, they still have the couple racks of chairs.
we can talk to Cross and Calvary too.
Find out.
We'll get chairs. We'll be fine.
I'll mention to Mr. Strandberg, the music instructor too,
Yeah,
so,
we can wrangle enough chairs up in the community and we'll start figuring out some ways to get some more chairs.
yeah, maybe the students will come with a horn and a chair.
There you go.
Unless you wanna
If they wanna sit, they gotta bring their own seats.
If you
Exactly,
play the piccolo, you better grab 2 chairs.
yeah. Or, everybody has a lot of folding chairs for watching sports outdoors, it's
Bring your own
BYOC.
chair.
Where,
You don't know what you're gonna get there if you haven't.
that's true.
I'll bring a couch.
Okay,
Okay,
Good for the outdoor movie.
thank you, council.
you're gonna. Let me know when.
Yep, I will follow up with you, to sign the lease agreement and everything tomorrow.
You have my phone number.
I bet John does.
John does.
Maybe 1 or 2 of them.
I've got it.
I have enough people, I think I do, Ron.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Okay, we're taking a look here at resolution 45, so the planning committee met last week and we took a look at some zoning adjustments here. There's a portion of R1 where the homes are stacked so tight together that they're not even in, they're not even in compliance for the R1 what do you call them, regulations or?
Yes,
So
so,
low density now and it's
yes, it's low density now and planning commission gave a lot of consideration and held a public hearing at their last planning commission meeting in April. To amend the future land use map in our comprehensive plan to change a lot of this area. Oh, my mouse.
What you can
Can
do.
you see
is
my mouse?
You can look at the big physical.
You can kind of see this bit, yeah, here you go. Except it's not in the same color, so like this is currently close enough to R1 and then the R2, and so we're extending R2. And so this aligns with the city's comprehensive plan in a number of different ways. So the areas that were proposed, that the planning commission proposed and approved to recommend to you all to change from R1 to R2. They're the older portions of the city. They are, historically have been platted that are smaller in size. They were developed with narrower setbacks and a more compact urban form. So most of these plats predate the 1970 zoning code that we kind of then just dropped on top of them, regardless if those lots were fit for that type of zoning. So this kind of supports our broader comprehensive goals as encouraging the infill development. It's promoting walkability in that area. And it's really preserving the character there. As you may recall, our high density residential has that 5-foot yard setback as opposed to that 10-foot yard setback, as well as smaller minimum lot sizes, which many of these fit comfortably into that designation. And so this is kind of more about looking what's already in our community, what's in our neighborhoods, and preserving that character there. So that's their proposed future land use map change for the comprehensive plan, which would then, the next step would be to actually adopt this into zoning and to actually change the zoning map.
So you take
To recognize that.
a look at the maps. You take a look at the old map and the actual lots don't match the zoning, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So half of R1 should be zoned R2 just the way the lots are. And this is just adding clarity to the map. Like, it's it's a better representation of what is actual.
It's actually aligning the zoning with what already exists. As opposed to taking kind of this vision of, a vision was, okay, well, some of these smaller lots, we want you to buy out your neighbor. Tear down that house, combine your lots for this nice big lot, but that's no longer the priority of the city. The priority of the city and the direction of the city is to encourage housing of all shapes and sizes. And to encourage infill and development on vacant lots in R1 and R2. But if you develop an infill lot in R2, you can actually take more advantage of the lot. You have more flexibility.
And you'll see our inventory of of land that's inside the city of Olivia. There's a lot of inventory of a lot of opportunity in that R1 district as is. With the changing maps, so. It'll still allow for those larger lots to be purchased and developed.
So the orange
The orange,
over there is what's changing.
yes,
You're putting more orange.
we're putting more orange. Yes,
And then we're not doing individual like waivers for people to do things inside of
Correct.
that new orange area because they were zoned wrong to begin with.
It'll
Yeah.
help us avoid that
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah, it would certainly help us avoid, in a lot of these instances. We are getting more questions about developing lots or splitting parcels or things like that. This lessens that threshold to accomplish those things. We're really trying to avoid a variant situation. We're trying to see if somebody comes to us with a variance request, okay, what can be done? What is within our power, what makes sense for our community to accomplish that, if that request makes sense for our community. And this is certainly the right direction to help us in accommodating those requests.
Do we need to make a motion on this tonight?
We do need to make a motion for resolution 45, which is adopting this future land use map. As an amendment to our comprehensive plan that was adopted in 2024.
Make a motion to adopt this future land use map.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 45 to adopt the future land use map as amended. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Resolution 45 passes. So that kind of segues into the first reading of Ordinance 8, which is amending the official zoning map of the city of Olivia by rezoning certain property identified in Exhibit A from R1 low density residential to R2 high density residential.
And so what that ordinance is doing is taking what our future land use map looks like and actually adopting it into our zoning map. So this just amends our comprehensive plan, which tells everybody what we want the future of our city to look like. The ordinance is what actually makes it happen. And when we're amending zoning, there has to be a first reading of the ordinance along with a public hearing. And so that's what these resolutions and ordinances are doing.
We've done the first reading and
We've done
we can
the first
move on to
reading.
Resolution 46, which is the calling for the public hearing of the proposed ordinance amending the official zoning. I'll call for a motion to approve resolution 46.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve resolution 46. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, resolution 46 carries. Moving on to reports. Any reports from council?
I'm not sure. This is a spot to report. What do we? I know that the chief has been busy with blight letters. And this is a question for Pam, at what point do some of these become public health hazards and what have you? And what can be done to push properties when they do become? We've got one right now that's using a pickup truck as a dumpster on the side of the city street. And now he's starting to throw garbage bags up on his porch. Not to mention the 50 tires or 30 tires that are in behind his house that are gonna start with the mosquitoes and whatnot. At what point can we push a little bit harder as these become public health hazards? And don't we have a zoning officer or zoning person to handle some of these when they become? I mean, blight is one thing, but when they start becoming a public health hazard, isn't that in our zoning issues as well? For some
So
of this
we've
stuff?
we've been designating blight and like trash and vehicles. Under the police department has sent out those nuisance letters, which is what this has currently been addressed as. If we, upon review, think that it breaches over to some of the other areas, then yes, we would go at it that, but that discussion hasn't been brought up yet.
So, and then council member, after the city takes action, with sending violation letters, if those violation letters get ignored, then, I request documentation. And upon documentation would come draft a resolution for council to consider, see the evidence, and if you consider it to be a nuisance, or meet the criteria under the code or state law for a hazardous property, then you approve that resolution and order me to serve an order of abatement, which is served. Then they have 20 days from service to either fix the issue or respond to me. If we don't hear from them, then we can file with the court and ask the court to enforce the council's order. So that's the process after the violation letters if they're ignored.
Pretty well seen. I think we did this in October, November.
Unfortunately, this particular property, we've sent letters, we've done all the things that we need to do, and it's not moving. And now, like I said, the individual's using a pickup truck in the front of his house as a dumpster. Now he's starting to throw garbage onto the porch, and it's attracting vermin. So at some point, it's gotta become a public health hazard when there's going to be garbage from his home being strewn throughout the neighborhood because he's not taking care of it. And the stack of tires that are behind his house, I mean, we all know that mosquitoes are nobody's friend. We do what we do as a city to try to minimize the effect of mosquitoes in our area, and this guy's got a stack of tires out behind his house and he's not taking care of them, and the letters have fallen on either blind eyes or deaf ears. So at some point,
Well, we have to follow the process, right? We can't just.
right, I agree with that, but the question that I'm asking is, at what point does this become a public health hazard where we can expedite things a little bit more?
Yeah,
Or start hammering the issue a little bit harder?
Well, yeah, we have to have documentation. And so there are different, that documentation of health hazard is a little higher to meet. It's easier to do if the property was vacant. It doesn't sound like the property's vacant.
No.
There is statutory authority. If there's a vacant property that has that type of public health hazard, then council can adopt an emergency ordinance to secure the building while we wait to go through the 463 process that we'd have to go through otherwise. But since this isn't a vacant building, it's just really getting that documentation to me and getting it to you so you can order that abatement and start the process.
And I believe the notice has been sent. Okay.
Can I update council?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
The particular property we're discussing, repeat offender. We've sent a notice as we've done with other properties. But we've also sent a criminal citation charge to the attorneys in Loomer to do a criminal complaint because it just keeps happening. Problem with that is now it's in court and we're gonna be waiting for the next 5 to 6 months before the case is heard and or continued and or convicted or dismissed. So the criminal side of it isn't gonna get us anywhere as far as getting it done in a reasonable amount of time.
So it's already going through that.
If
process.
we've already done our due diligence on that, the next step is an abatement process, like Pam said. But we just went through that with property in town and we know how expensive that is. So we've got to figure out some other way of doing it, so we're not costing the city all this money for no one else's responsibilities. And we have another one on the north end of town, using a trailer for appliances, like a scrap iron dealership. Well, guess what? Can't do it. So we're gonna have the same problem there. And the same thing with the city's expenses, try to get rid of it. I don't have an answer. Councilman does have a point with the public safety or public health with this property. That's more so because we've got bags falling out of the trailer. As soon as they hit the ground, we can write another citation. But again, the citations aren't doing anything but sitting in court, waiting for offenders, and
Do they usually get dismissed? Or do they usually get prosecuted?
we haven't done a lot of criminal stuff. Usually people are pretty smart about it and they go, okay, well, we obviously have to address it and deal with it. But when we did in the other part of town earlier, we went through the entire process on the criminal side, got convictions, went through the process that the judge ordered on a, I don't know, it was a month or 2 month extension he gave. The individual didn't follow through with the criminal side of it, so then we turned around and ended up him having to pay a complete fine instead of half the fine. And we're still dealing with it. Because now we're still working with the abatement process, because now he's trying a different avenue that has extended our abatement process. To, okay, you're gonna get the permits you need for what you say you've got there. And how are we sit, twiddling our thumbs, so we can't do anything. So.
Which is terrible.
Yeah, I just would like to add that the last property was a little unfortunate as far as there was a little bit of confusion about what was addressed and what wasn't addressed, and whether some of the materials truly were a nuisance. If you have something like vermin and that's documented, that's a little easier case. Every case is going to be different. And so the process is the process, as Council Member Baumgartner said, but some of these cases are not as expensive as others because if you get good documentation, the courts are really usually very willing to enforce those. Oftentimes too, once the court process is started, the property owner doesn't answer, and so then it's a default judgment, and then the city can go in and address it and assess the property. So I would say that this most recent one that we've had that experience with is not a good example to use as far as what's normal, and none of them are normal, so to speak. Everyone's different, but I have seen them go a lot more smoothly and less costly, but it really depends on that documentation and clarity of what our expectations are with respect to property and the materials and the garbage, and vermin and just piles and piles and piles of garbage. That's a lot better documentation. So I would just add that.
Do we have a checklist, Pam, for the front end of like take certain pictures from certain angles, make a list of what is part of the violation, what you want removed, what can stay? Like, do you have anything like that? Like map out the lot and like circle on the lot, like this is an issue, this is an issue. Do we have a drone?
Yeah, so
No, we don't have to charge to fly a drone over communities. We do have a call for service report, which we simply identify, and I've been doing them. I've been listing what I can see from the public view on these things is this is what I found as a violation, this is the location on the property. And I've identified, okay, you have the tires, you have a mattress, you have a steel frame, you have a tub. And then on the bottom where it says disposition or no, it says action needed to be in compliance, I put these items must be removed. So it's as plain as can be from what I can see from the road. It's just over and over we deal with it. And you can identify them. Some people will do it. Others just throw it in the garbage and think we won't do anything, which, yeah, I came across a couple from last year, vehicles mainly, that we sent the letters. They just blew it off and we didn't follow up on it. Well, Elizabeth, this year I'm doing this again, same ones, repeat offenders will get a ticket after their 10 days. I'm not even gonna mess with the, okay, we'll give you an extension, okay, I'm sorry, you didn't understand, well, it's all there, it's simple. They're just not addressing what they've been asked to address. And unfortunately, I'm seeing it year after year, because it's falling lower on the totem pole for priority. We haven't followed up on it, this year it's not low on the totem pole, I'm just issuing tickets now.
I think that's good. Question, when you send out the letter for like the first time or something to these people, do they understand that it can cost, how much it can cost them? Is it kind of laid out like, hey, we're asking you to respond to this because we'll take action. And if you don't, here's what it's looking like it's gonna cost you to march through this process.
Second letter is gonna be a fine of this, third letter, criminal charge, fourth letter, you're.
Yeah, and then your legal charges will be,
You like,
I mean, this is
lay it
gonna be
all out in
a
the
nightmare
front.
for you. This is gonna be a nightmare. It's much easier just to clean up your mess.
Can we make a letter like that?
So we certainly can. We do have new this year, a letter that does say. Repeat offenders, you guys just passed in that fine and fee. If the same nuisance violation occurs more than once within a calendar year, a $50 fee will be charged for each subsequent nuisance notice order issued. So this is the notice and order form that you all saw and approved last year. And we've just added that one line because of the new fine and fee schedule. There can certainly be, if there wants to be a second backside of the page or a second page where we list out a full process. I think for some of these people, it will be very helpful. The feedback we have gotten on this is, again, you have some people who ignore it, you have some people who do something with it, and then you have some people who call the city and say, well, that was super rude. I moved to a small town for friendly small town ways, and then I get this scary threatening letter. You're never going to be able to please anybody. So I do think this walks a good line between this is an official notice and order. We need you to take this seriously. But if we want to, maybe for repeat offenders, continue discussing how their costs could add, I don't know if it necessarily needs to be the first notice.
No, I want to clarify one other thing on the question you had asked,
Yeah.
identifying the items in the yard. Christie's also sending a photograph to each individual with that.
There you go.
So
Yeah, if we take photos.
it's very helpful for that as well, but again, you're gonna have the ones that just say, whatever.
I mean,
We're going through all the work and time and effort and.
I will say that the process, like. The town looks a lot better than it did 2 years ago. The process is working.
And
We just
in
need to-
90% of the cases, it actually fixes it.
and they do it,
And
yeah.
you take care of it. But those 10%.
And you don't know the 10%. That's where I think Matt's right, where we need to have just a list of saying, hey, this is the process. You're gonna work with this.
At least.
You know what I mean? You don't know who it is that's gonna follow it. You don't know who it is that's
Right.
gonna not follow it. And just be like, this is the citywide process of doing it. This is what we do. You're gonna get this, the next one $50 fine, the next one, you have so many days before criminal charges, the next one is abatement. And then you're gonna have to, the city's gonna come clean it and you're gonna have to reimburse us the money for cleaning it.
Yeah, this is all good discussion. I mean,
Yeah.
we've made some really good ground here, and there's a couple more things to tweak up and pump up the pressure, not
We
maybe.
can work on our follow-up notification for our repeat offenders.
I think staff has to decide when a more aggressive letter is a good idea to do. I mean, you guys have a better feel of that than I do, but I think if I were being a jerk and was like, no, I don't wanna, and then I look at, well, if I don't do it, it's like,
Right. I guess I do.
maybe I don't spend 14 grand over the course
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
I will say, I mean, as to, we did see a large resolve rate from most of our nuisances last year as we embarked on this new nuisance process. Chief has done a great job on top of the blight this year. With our city cleanup day, he's been giving that kind of friendly notice that this is the resource you should take advantage of that's free in order to come into compliance. So him and his team have been doing a great job. I know he's carried a lot of the blight and vehicle removal on his own shoulders, so he's done a fabulous job with that.
I appreciate it.
Thank you,
We've
Chief.
had a couple come forward and say, I can't get it done by now or by your 10 days, but can I have an extension? Absolutely. I will work with everybody that's willing to actually show me that they're gonna do something.
Communicate.
And that's one reason I try to keep a lot of the decision making on my plate. So you don't have a bunch of different opinions saying, nope, I'm not gonna give you, yes, I am. No, and I know a lot of the circumstances of the ones that came to me and said, hey, I just can't do it. You know what? Okay, I'll work with you. It's just those that go, I don't care,
Right.
that are really struggling with, and I need to send a message somehow.
No, we got your back on that, Chief.
Yeah. Keep going.
All right, any other reports from council? Planning commission had its meeting, basic subject was what we just passed here, and these resolutions and ordinances regarding the zoning. That's about all for the city related
Yeah, I think this was, just something.
No, it's yawning, I'm sorry,
think
I work a lot.
I
I
don't
mean, the
care.
planning commission, and she on this.
That's why I'm not a. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think I missed the last meeting, but the PUC had recommended that the go ahead, did that get pushed through?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's good, that was really my update there, the only other question I have
Mhm.
is. What caused the power outage on Saturday night?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
It was an interruption from the Excel power that we were distributed, so it wasn't actually on the city utilities. We often piggyback on Excel, so they had a service interrupted that caused us to be without power for less than a minute. Some
It was-
people were already asleep when this came up in staff, so it was like, wait, there was a power
All the
outage,
good
so.
people in the world were asleep, right?
Yeah, so it was, you know, if you had a longer blink, you probably missed it, but that's what it was.
It was long enough where I was like, holy, it's dark,
It's creepy.
and then what happened, and then the lights came on.
It was, it's fine.
It was the first time in over a year that we were in the garage.
It frustrated my son because he was playing video games with his.
Oh.
And then, of course, when you go back in, you're dead.
So sorry.
Why is that happening more? Like our outage, all of Renville County down, Morton 71-212, why, I don't remember that happening
I mean,
before.
so we buy power from MMPA and WAPA, but we get it distributed to us through Excel from either direction. So we are fairly reliant on if there's something that really brings down Excel in the region, we could be susceptible to that. Now our electric team makes it so that we are fed from both directions and that there's a lot of redundancy built into our system. So we have a lot fewer power outages than other cities. But we do sometimes, if our power distribution is interrupted because of an Excel line, there is a chance that we are impacted as well.
You gotta admit, when it's like big news around town that the power was out for 4 seconds.
Things are pretty good.
Yeah. The biggest deal in a long time.
I mean, our, what I'm saying is like our electricity in town is so incredibly reliable
Yes.
that it's like a hot
Yeah.
topic when it's out for
Yes.
4 seconds.
Yeah.
Yes, I've had some of many of my senior customers today, that are very. Why did this happen? I don't know.
Why weren't they asleep?
Find out.
I immediately messaged you and then posted on Facebook, cause if not, then they can comment on Facebook, cause if not, I get the private messages.
Yeah.
And start like, hey, what happened?
You know,
That's why I was like, did your lights go out, question mark? And then boom, it just got full of comments, I was like,
There we
there,
go.
and then they can have their own discussion together.
Yeah.
All right, we have some notices on here then. Oh wait, any reports from staff?
I'll say the EDA meeting, we had guests from the business of childcare as they continue to explore different options and studies for their initiative and just priority of childcare. There was a community ed advisory meeting where they talked about kind of the different options for this summer. We did have, myself and Susie had a great meeting with Ben, the food inspector with the county, so we are a little bit more well versed on what needs a food permit. What are cottage industry permits, special event permits, things like that. He was a wonderful resource. And then I did go to the county convening that was hosted by Renville County last week, where we talked about, they provided us with a county public works update. Mike Pennon was there for emergency management, Jess Johnson for health communication. So all good updates from the county.
How was our plan coming?
Our plan is coming well, and we actually next Monday will be doing a tabletop exercise with Mike, with the fire department, with the police department, myself and Leah Peterson, who also handles emergency stuff. So that'll happen next Monday night. So getting going, which is nice.
Next Monday time
6 p.m.
here, I'm guessing.
Yeah, in the fire hall.
Chief?
Highway 71 South is closed. That's right.
Oh,
That is right, thank you.
And yes, we have gotten concerns already from citizens about the traffic, so I went down there today and sat for about an hour or so and watched, I don't know, a dozen cars turn around, double back. 2 went down Bayberry all the way to the gravel and came back. But, which isn't really too concerning, but I did see 2 semis. Go up into Viking, back into Viking Drive, and one hooked onto the service road on Bayberry and went around, so. Craig and I and Elizabeth and others are trying to work on a solution for that, because it's not our. Once they get past Bayberry or Viking Drive, it's not our realm, but. I knew this would land on us because it's right on the edge. So,
Yeah.
Why is it, how far is it closed?
It's closed right at just south of Bayberry or Viking Drive.
Okay,
So they drive right up to the barricade. And they look and see the excavator in the roadway and go, oh, I can't make it. And then they turn around and go back.
Is it all the way to Redwood?
Nope, just a mile south. It's just replacing the culvert, and they're supposed to have that.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
soon.
yes.
But yeah, we're gonna get the complaints as a city and we'll do what we can. But
all they need to do is take like an old state trooper vehicle, park it about a quarter mile down there, and nobody will even think about
it's
it.
kind of fun sitting on the side there taking bets who's gonna turn around and who's
I remember there was like semis when they had 71 close here, there was like semis just coming out of all the neighborhoods, like trying to find a way around
we had
just to
that
get back.
school bus, they couldn't get to the track field. They came down the Viking Drive and they're like, how do I get to the track field now? So anyway, I just want you guys to know that we are aware, if you get anybody that says anything to you, we're working on it.
How long is that gonna take, all summer?
No, it's only supposed to be a month.
Yeah, and the culvert, they said the culvert, once culvert's replaced, they'll be able to reopen it.
Wait
So
station, like a real
station-
wait
I don't know if the wait
Like-
station will shut it completely down or not.
like off 35 wait station, pull over to the side, go
No,
and get.
this one's gonna be a rolling,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be in the roadway so that they can go, they can, check it while the vehicle's going down the highway.
In the
Oh.
pull off area.
So it'll be monitored via camera?
Yeah, they've got it's all digital, and they'll have a notice to pull off on where they make the pull off area. So the drivers will know they need to pull off. Supposedly.
And then they wait for a state trooper to get there?
I don't know, we haven't figured that out yet.
They just.
Sorry, I wanna be, I'm gonna sit out there.
A lot of times these types of scales are left alone until they wanna harass the drivers. And then they'll put a trooper there and monitor it. Cause they can't pull somebody over and make them wait for a trooper to come from Bunkiss, wherever they're coming from.
Mhm.
So you'll see probably a lot of action this.
When the
fall,
troopers
troopers are coming and, yeah.
So they'll just stay on gravel until they
Yeah, I would say our first
Stay-
street's gonna get hit hard.
Yeah,
steer clear from.
First Street's gonna get beat pretty hard here.
Mhm.
Cause that is going to be the best workaround.
Yeah, cause
Right
right
now
now, used to
is-
town on 212 and then now this one, so.
Yeah.
Right, isn't that a wait station too, where the camera is over there?
In motion.
Yeah,
waste
over by the
station.
hospital.
Mhm. Yeah, they called one day and said, hey, there's a garbage truck in town running around without his axle down. I'm like, okay. I wouldn't know anything about it, and they said, well, we need to know if his axle is down, I'm like.
Maybe
"Where is
that's
he?"
the one.
But they knew he wasn't down, I'm like, sorry, check, I don't know where he's at, and I don't know if his axle is down or not. Whatever,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
So that's all they can do is just watch the camera and be like, no, don't do that,
I have
stop.
no idea,
Then people just
but I
go,
do know they're very active in this area, so.
yeah, they like to be in this area.
Jasmine, any news from the clerk side of things?
No.
Okay. Any other notifications or announcements?
Yeah, so up on the screen, you'll see our community center schedule May 1st through May 16th. And then right after Memorial Day, we're gonna switch over to summer hours, which are to be determined. But just wanna push that out there. We do have 2 public events happening in the first half of May. May 13th, Renville County Wellness Event is happening starting at 4:30, and then May 16th, 5:30 PM, Corn Capital Days kickoff event. Starting May 17th and then the following 2 May weekends, we do have it booked with different rentals, which is great to see that people are utilizing it, particularly for grad parties and other celebrations. Then I want to direct you all to this. I really would like you either to attend or really share this out widely to your groups, your networks. So this is part of our Rural Sustainable Development Partnership grant that we're doing with the University of Minnesota Extension Office. They're conducting kind of that business feasibility study. And so part of it is conducting focus groups with community members to get their input on the community center, as well as they're gonna ask some pointed questions about fees at the community center, rental rates, kind of cost studies, things like that. So you can see that there are 3 different ways to participate, 2 in person and 1 virtual. So Monday, May 11th at 6:30 p.m. There will be 1 focus session. These are not led by the city. Nobody needs to think that I'm gonna be asking people for feedback and they have to be Minnesota nice because they don't want to hurt my feelings. This is an outside entity. You can be completely honest with that person. We want to hear all the honest feedback. The next one, Wednesday, May 13th at noon, it's going to be held via Zoom. So we thought maybe over people's lunch hour, they might be able to log on to a Zoom. And then Thursday, May 21st at 10 at the community center.
Are they all the same event on different days or?
They're all the same event on different days, so you
Okay.
can choose what works best with your schedule. You only have to participate in 1. Sign up using the QR code to the Google form, and that'll help us out. There will be cookies or something else as a enticing, another hook to get people there.
Well, as much as I like cookies,
Yes.
what do we think? Do we think if council members show up to this, you know, looking over people's shoulders, you think we'll get an organic response?
I don't know, but if that's the case, if we're worried about that, then I would implore you all to recruit at least 2 people from your networks to attend one of these.
Can it be someone we're married to?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. It could be your daughter. It could be your daughter. It can be high school students. We
Right,
would love for a student perspective as well.
I think David will be out of school, I'll make David and Adam go.
So we would really appreciate if everybody recruits a couple of people. The focus group and the survey and the report that you all get this summer from this group is only as good as the community participation that we get for it. And I can't recruit community members alone, so I need all of you to tap into your own networks to help us get people registered. We have about 7 people registered right now. So would love more. And then finally, we've been talking about it a lot, but just keep pushing it out there. City Cleanup Day, May 29th and May 30th. So flyer designed by the wonderful Jasmine. So also feel free to share that widely to your network. But again, would love you to help us. This flyer has been shared on the City of Olivia Facebook page. If you'd like to share it to your own or take a screenshot, we'll be pushing it out again this week. So if you want to reshare there.
I don't see the flyer, I see like the link.
Oh, it might just be the link because I posted directly to the link. It sometimes gets finicky if you try to post an image and a link, it heroes the link. So.
All right, everybody, go to the focus group.
Yes, please.
Find it 1 of the time, 3 times next week.
All of your significant others could attend.
I only have 1.
She meant all,
Collectively.
But that was a good answer. He's watching the video.
She is not, I guarantee you.
That took me a minute.
Audio, he's the only one that said it.
I don't have to.
There you go. Thank you all. That's what I needed to share.
With no other business on the agenda, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to adjourn. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good idea.
Thank you.